No. You gonna grab a cart?
Michelle Peters and her son are buying food today thanks to their friends. And they have more than just a few people to thank for their generosity. Her groceries come courtesy of the entire town of Woodstock and its quarters. These days, you can't get much for a quarter. Not even a phone call. But through an innovative new program in Woodstock, Ontario, 25 cents is helping some in this community put food on the table. Peters is a client of Food for Friends, a program run by Operation Sharing. The Christian organization is supported by over 45 different churches.
In secular terms, I would say my work as a chaplain and also the organization as a whole, we're bridge builders. In theological terms, we're trying to build the kingdom of God. What I found really
Stephen Guiliano is program director.
It started with me standing in front of an independent Interact machine where I was realizing in order to get my own money out, I'd have to pay an extra $1.50 instead of going 8 blocks down to my own bank. And I started thinking, if I'm willing to give $1.50 to get my own money out, would people be willing to give 25 cents to support their neighbors in their local community?
So he created Food for Friends. The goal, he says, was to replace Operation Sharing's emergency food bank, which had been open 20 years, with food cards.
We may be actually giving people stuff that isn't healthy for them at all, but we have no choice because it's that or nothing. This simple act of donating 25 cents can change an entire community.
If the people of Woodstock donated a quarter every time they went grocery shopping, he figured they'd be able to feed the 250 to 275 families they were seeing a month. But the program couldn't work without buy-in from the major grocery chains in town.
And so I went to the grocery store managers and asked them if they would consider putting a computer, be like an item movement code on their computers, just like they would for any other product, and allow people to donate 25 cents when they go shopping.
Those quarters are funneled into an account, and based on the money clients spend, Food for Friends writes a check to the grocery store. Foodland owner and operator Chris Chapman admits Guiliano's idea was unorthodox, but it was worth a shot.
I've had food bank bins at the front of the store for years, and you walk by those bins and you look at them filled with pumpkin pie filling that people have cleaned out of their cabinet, and you really think, when was the last time you saw a loaf of fresh bread, a head of lettuce, some chicken thighs or something you could build a meal around. What I'm going to need you to do is...
The program helps him connect with and engage the community, something Chapman says he values. From an operational standpoint, his business profits too.
And these people are not, for the large part, are not going to be on a food bank card for the rest of their lives. They're going to be your customers of tomorrow. And what better way to capture customers by treating them right when they're here at this particular time in their involvement.
The cards are highly controlled, says Guiliano, to prevent abuse. They also allow clients the dignity of making their own choices.
And you have to sign an application when you go to get this card. You sign the back of the card, which is then laminated, and then you can go shopping at your local grocery store to buy any one of the main 4 food groups that is non-taxable. You sign the receipt. Comes in duplicate from the cashier, and they take the card and the receipt, put it behind the till, and we collect them every month, bring them back and match 3 signatures. If those signatures do not match, we unfortunately have to suspend people for a certain period of time.
Food cards range in denominations of $25 for a single person to $60 for a large family. And while the amount seems meager, Guiliano says his clients can make a dollar stretch.
I had one person come in and actually show me in a box what he got with his, it was with a small family, and it was $45–50, and I was amazed at the way that they were able to get that amount of food on that amount of money.
Like many communities, recent economic woes have affected the region of Oxford County. Though Food for Friends is meant to provide emergency assistance, he says more are finding themselves in need.
We have a significant number of working poor also. They may have jobs, but the jobs aren't paying them enough to support their families. Some are recent unemployment, or they have recently been released from incarceration and they're trying to move ahead in their life and they're still on a job search, or they're people who are between jobs. There may be some also who are on disability.
That's the main reason Michelle Peters relies on food cards. On disability for diabetes, depression, anxiety, and a back problem, she says Food for Friends helps feed her family.
Financially, with the rent, paying rent and trying to get my bills to meet up, food for my son and that for school and everything, you know, it was too much.
Being able to choose and having access to a variety of healthier foods also helps manage her diabetes, an added benefit to the cards, she says.
With food banks and that, you don't always get a choice of your food that you need for your diet and that. It's whatever they have available for you. Now with the food cards, you get to go in the store, you have your limit of what your card says. You go in the store, you pick out what you need.
For Stephen Giuliano, giving low-income residents who often aren't asked what they want the opportunity to choose what they eat is a form of empowerment. Food cards may be the progressive next step forward in food distribution for the poor, he says.
A lot of programs that support those less fortunate, there's the givers and the receivers, specifically charity. This is more realistic social justice because this allows everybody to give to each other, whether you're rich or poor or middle class, and at a small amount.
Through Food for Friends, Giuliano hopes that by seeing the less fortunate in the grocery aisles and being asked to donate every time they shop, the people of Woodstock will be confronted with the reality of poverty in their community and remember that with their loose change, they can affect change, 1 quarter at a time. In Woodstock, Ontario, Bridget Antwi, 100 Huntley Street.